Hey there. Feeling a little swamped by all the info out there about real estate development? Trust me, you're not alone. Figuring out if a project will actually make money. It can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle blindfolded.
It's true. Property development has so many moving parts. It can be pretty intimidating, especially if you're just starting out.
Right. And that's why this deep dive is all about giving you a clear path through the maze. We're zeroing in on a tool called One Minute Feaso. It claims to make evaluating real estate projects a breeze.
Yeah. And it's not just some theoretical concept either. The creator, Amber Khanna, she's a seasoned developer. She's handled multi-million-dollar projects.
Wow.
And she's taken all that experience and packed it into this platform.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but let's be real. Everyone says their tool is the best thing since sliced bread. So what makes One Minute Feaso stand out from the crowd?
Well, Khanna noticed that many first-time developers, they kind of trip up on the same three things. They jump into a project without truly knowing if it's profitable, they overpay for the land, or they underestimate how much cash they'll actually need.
Ouch. Those are some pretty big pitfalls,
Mhm.
especially for someone new to the game.
Exactly. And that's where One Minute Feaso comes in. It's designed to help you avoid those common mistakes right from the start.
You know, one thing that really caught my eye was that this tool works in a bunch of different countries. How does it manage to be so versatile?
That's one of the brilliant things about it. It's built on Google Sheets, which you might not expect for something this powerful, but that's what makes it so adaptable. One Minute Feaso has customizable cost and tax codes, so it can handle the nuances of places like Australia, New Zealand, the USA, Canada, and many more.
Okay, so we're talking about a tool that's built on a platform that many of us use every day. But how does a simple spreadsheet morph into this high-powered analytical tool for property development?
That's where the magic of Google Apps Script comes in. It's a coding language that works within Google Sheets. It allows for complex calculations and automation. Essentially, it turns your spreadsheet into a dynamic engine that crunches numbers and spits out insightful results.
Wait, so you're telling me there's some serious coding power behind this seemingly simple tool? That's pretty impressive. I'm starting to see how this could be a game changer for anyone looking to dive into property development. But let's get down to brass tacks. The website mentions these step-by-step guides that walk you through the process. What's the first thing you do when you fire up One Minute Feaso?
Well, the first step is all about setting the stage for your project. Think of it as laying the foundation. You'll input the basic project details, the relevant tax rates, and even use Google Maps to get accurate property information.
That's smart. Using Google Maps for accuracy right off the bat. I'm guessing the next step dives into one of those common pitfalls we talked about.
Right.
Land acquisition costs.
You got it. This is where One Minute Feaso really starts to shine. You see, underestimating these costs is a classic rookie mistake. The tool helps you account for every detail, from legal fees and stamp duties to the tricky stuff like the goods and services tax, GST, and the margin scheme, which can be a real headache when you're dealing with commercial properties.
So it's like having a built-in checklist to make sure you're not missing any hidden costs that could come back to bite you later.
Okay.
What about the next big piece of the puzzle? Estimating construction costs. I imagine that can be a bit of a black hole for someone who's never built anything before.
You're absolutely right. Construction costs can quickly spiral out of control if you're not careful. This is where One Minute Feaso helps you break things down systematically. First, you'll determine the number of units you're building and calculate the average built area. Then the tool guides you through gathering detailed construction cost estimates. And here's the cool part. You can input specific costs for different materials, ensuring your estimates are as accurate as possible.
Wow, that level of detail is impressive. So you're not just getting ballpark figures. You're getting a precise breakdown of every cost component. But construction is just one piece of the development pie, right? There are all those other costs lurking in the shadows.
Right, which brings us to what One Minute Feaso calls allocating development costs. It might sound like a broad category, but trust me, it covers everything but the kitchen sink.
Okay, let's break it down. What kind of costs fall under this umbrella?
Think of it this way. Anything that's not directly related to buying the land or building the structure goes here. So you'll be estimating the final value of each unit, figuring out the land value per unit, and working out your construction and consultant fees. Then there are council contributions, marketing and legal expenses, and of course the all-important financing costs.
Wow, it sounds like One Minute Feaso really helps you capture all those hidden costs that can easily sneak up on you.
Bro.
But wait, you mentioned financing costs. Does the tool actually factor in things like your loan and interest rates?
Absolutely. It even takes into account your loan-to-value ratio, or LVR, which basically tells you how much of the project is being financed with debt versus your own equity.
So it's not just about understanding what things cost. It's about understanding how you're going to pay for them and what that means for your overall profitability.
Hmm.
Okay, we've covered land costs, construction costs, and all those other essential expenses. What's next in the 1-minute Feaso roadmap?
Well, after you've got a good handle on the costs, you need to start thinking about the timeline. That's where the estimating project timeline section comes in, and this is where things can get really interesting, because time is money in property development.
That makes sense. The longer a project takes, the more it's going to cost you in interest and holding costs.
Exactly. So in this section, you'll figure out the holding period for the land, meaning how long you'll need to own it before construction is complete and you can start selling units. You also delve into your financing options, taking into account things like leverage and LVR, which we talked about earlier.
So it's really helping you paint a realistic picture of how long this project is going to take and what the financial implications are along the way. I'm starting to see why Kana calls this a 1-minute Feaso. It seems like it's guiding you through a very comprehensive analysis in a surprisingly efficient way. But we're not done yet, are we? There's still the big question of profit.
You're right. We haven't even gotten to the heart of what makes a development project successful profit. That's where the target development margin yield on cost section comes in.
Now we're talking. This is where you actually see if the project is worth your time and money.
Right.
Precisely.
Here you set your desired profit margin, how much you want to make on the project. 1-minute Feaso takes that target and calculates the maximum price you can pay for the land while still hitting your profit goal.
So it's like having an expert negotiator by your side, telling you exactly how much to offer for the land. I can see how that would be incredibly valuable, especially for someone who might not be comfortable with the whole negotiation game.
It really takes the guesswork out of it, and that can be a huge relief for a new developer. But even beyond the land price, this section gives you a crystal clear picture of your overall project profitability.
I bet that's a pretty satisfying moment. Seeing all those numbers come together and knowing whether you've got a winner on your hands.
It is. And the tool doesn't just stop there. It pulls everything together into a property development feasibility summary. Think of it as your project's report card.
Okay, I'm picturing a concise breakdown of all the key metrics. What kind of information does this summary actually include?
It lays out your projected developer's margin, the profit per unit, and then it gets into some really insightful comparisons. It shows you how the land value stacks up against the gross realization value, or GRV, which is basically the total revenue you expect to generate from selling the completed units.
So you can see if you're getting a good deal on the land relative to what you're going to sell the units for.
Yeah.
That's smart. What else does this summary reveal?
It also compares your construction costs to the total development costs, giving you a clear idea of where your money is going and if there are any areas where you might be able to trim the fat.
So it's not just about assessing profitability.
Yeah.
It's also about optimizing your spending and making sure you're getting the most bang for your buck.
Exactly. And remember, you're likely not going to be funding the entire project yourself. You'll probably need to bring in investors. That's where the calculating return for investors section comes in.
Right, because investors need to know what's in it for them. They're not just going to hand over their money without understanding how much they stand to gain.
Of course not. This section is all about making your project attractive to potential investors. It helps you figure out how much capital you need to raise, determine the value per share, and calculate what investors can expect in terms of return on equity, or ROE, and their share of the profits.
So you're presenting them with a clear, compelling case for why they should invest in your project. That's crucial for securing funding. But let's be real. Things don't always go according to plan in the world of property development. Costs can fluctuate, markets can shift, unexpected delays can pop up. How does 1-minute Feaso address that element of uncertainty?
That's where the sensitivity analysis comes in. This is one of my favorite features because it allows you to stress test your assumptions and see how the project would fare under different scenarios.
You can play around with different variables, like increasing construction costs or adjusting sales prices, and see how those changes impact your overall profitability.
Exactly. It's all about understanding the potential risks and ensuring that your project can withstand some bumps in the road.
That's crucial for making informed decisions, especially when you're dealing with such a significant investment. Okay, so we've walked through the entire process, from setting up your project to analyzing your potential returns. But before we wrap up, I wanted to mention something that really caught my eye on the website, testimonials from people who have actually used 1-minute Feaso.
Oh, yes. There are some really compelling endorsements, particularly from experienced professionals in the real estate field.
There's one in particular that stood out to me. Bill Rodney, a senior lecturer in real estate finance, was incredibly impressed with the tool's models.
That's right. He even said the models in One Minute Feaso were more detailed and well-presented than most he's seen in his career. Coming from someone with his level of expertise, that's pretty high praise.
It definitely adds a lot of credibility to the tool, knowing that it's not just some marketing gimmick, it's actually backed by real-world experience and expertise.
It is, and I think that's what makes One Minute Feaso so powerful. It's not just about crunching numbers, it's about providing insights and guidance that can help you make smarter decisions, avoid costly mistakes, and ultimately achieve your development goals.
You know, it's interesting. We started this deep dive talking about how overwhelming the world of real estate development can be.
Yeah.
But One Minute Feaso seems to be doing a great job of demystifying the process and making it feel much more manageable.
I completely agree. What I find most impressive is how it empowers anyone, regardless of their experience level, to confidently navigate the often intimidating world of property development. It's like having a seasoned mentor by your side, guiding you through each step of the way. It really is. And that speed is a game changer. Imagine being able to assess the feasibility of a project in under a minute. That could be incredibly valuable when you're evaluating multiple opportunities.
It would definitely save you a lot of time and energy, allowing you to quickly filter out projects that don't meet your criteria and focus your efforts on the ones that have real potential.
It's about working smarter, not harder. And One Minute Feaso definitely helps you do that.
You know, as we've been talking about all the features and benefits of this tool, I've been thinking about you, our listener.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the step-by-step guides and detailed financial modeling to the sensitivity analysis and the power of being able to assess a project's feasibility so quickly. What's resonating with you?
Yeah. What's fascinating here is that One Minute Feaso reminds us that property development doesn't have to be this overly complex and intimidating process.
No.
It can be simplified and made accessible to anyone willing to learn.
And that's really empowering, isn't it? It's about shifting the mindset from, I could never do that, to, hey, maybe I can.
Exactly. It's about breaking down those barriers to entry and giving people the tools they need to turn their development dreams into reality.
So now that you've seen how quickly and efficiently you can assess a project's feasibility, what type of development project would you be most excited to explore further?
Is it a multifamily apartment building? A boutique hotel? A mixed-use development with retail and residential space? The possibilities are truly endless, limited only by your imagination and, of course, the feasibility of your project.
That's a great point. It's important to dream big, but it's equally important to be grounded in reality. And that's where One Minute Feaso comes in, providing that crucial bridge between your vision and the practicalities of making it happen.
It helps you separate the viable projects from the pipe dreams, so you can focus your energy on what truly has the potential to succeed.
Okay, let's unpack this. Well, instead of unpacking more right now, I want to encourage you to continue exploring on your own. Head over to the One Minute Feaso website. Check out the free resources and guides they offer, and maybe even take the tool for a spin.
Yeah, immerse yourself in the world of property development. Who knows? Maybe your next deep dive will be into your very own feasibility study.
That's a fantastic thought. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep learning.